Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Ruby. My claim today is that people that win the lottery are destined to be cursed. And by cursed, I mean they were better off before they, got all this money. I'm sure we've all heard it at least once in our lives. I wish I could just win the lottery so all my problems would go away, or you have a conversation about all the things that you would do with all the funds that you received with the lottery. Even when you go and buy a ticket, we all kind of like think about it like, oh my gosh, what would I do if I win all this money? And a lot of us don't actually do the things that we say that we're going to do. So, according to a study done by the Commission of Thrift, the average household spends about $525 a year on lottery. That makes up for a lot of hopefuls that think, maybe this time I'll win the funds. An example of that is a man by the name of William Bud Post III. He was 66 years old. He literally had change in his account, and he went to pawn off one of his ex-wife's rings, and he got $40 for it. This is in Pennsylvania. So he got $40 for it, and he ended up using that to buy lotto tickets, and he won. He won $16.2 million in the lottery. And he said that his winnings brought him death, despair, and heartache. He had many, many problems. His problems included a brother who tried to hire a contract murderer to kill him, so he could, inherit his funds. Also, his sixth wife, she sued him to try to get, some of the funds. Also, he had girlfriends that tried to sue him too to try to get, a lump sum. He was charged for assault for firing a shotgun at a man trying to collect debt at his deteriorating dream house in northwestern Pennsylvania. He was left bankrupt with 6 out of his 7 marriages ending up in divorce. In an interview that he did with the Washington Post, he mentioned that I was much happier when I was broke. Once I'm no longer a lottery winner, people will leave me alone. That's all I want is just a peace of mind. So he just wanted to move on with that part of his life. I also have a quote from Dina Winter, who is a financial planner, and she's worked with a lot of lottery winners and trying to help them, put it, not to waste, try to find homes and stuff and good things to do with it instead of, trying to buy things that you're not even going to need. And in an article, she said, part of the problem is that many lottery winners are average Joes who have no experience handling huge sums of money. So they buy and invest without realizing what it will cost to maintain the houses they buy or to pay their taxes. They just start spending. They spend it on toys, toys meaning airplanes, cars that they don't need. They spend it on luxuries, bad investments, scams. There's people coming out of the woodworks trying to take advantage of these people. They just become a huge target. In many cases, they have to move locations, from the neighborhoods they grew up in, just to get away from their own families. Next, we have a statistic that I also found. These statistics come from surveys and interviews done by the Camelot Group, and they were published in 2006. The following are statistics that were compiled from 34 national lottery winners. 8 were males and 26 were females. The average age was 46. And they said 44% of these winners spent their lottery, their entire money, the lump sum that they won, within 5 years. So within 5 years, everything was completely wiped out. And 68% of the lottery winners still play lottery on a weekly basis. So this kind of shows that even if you win this large amount of money, you still continue to play. It's like a habit that you can't get out of. You're constantly maybe I'll win more, maybe I'll be able to do more things with it and help my family. So through all this, you see that winning or hitting the jackpot isn't always the best. I also have a personal example. My boyfriend's aunt won $3 million in a Vegas slot machine, and she used it to pay off debt. She had family that came from the Philippines that she never even heard of before, and they were like, donate to this, or let's start this business, and, they basically took advantage of her. Her husband was an alcoholic, and that spiraled out of control. He ended up divorcing her to get, half of the money. She bought her daughter a house, and she paid it all off. All the daughter had to do was pay $100 a month that went towards the taxes at the end of the year. And she couldn't even do that. She was really young. She didn't really care. The house was under her mom, so she ended up messing up her own mother's, credit score. So basically now she's renting a room, and she's living off her Social Security income. And that's used to pay off medication and food, and that's all she can afford. So it's kind of a sad story, but it does happen in a lot of cases where, people, completely wipe out their funds within 5 years. So yeah, that's why I think that winning the lottery is actually a curse instead of, this great thing.